Welcome, I'm Anticio Duke. Thank you for stopping by. So today we're gonna cover a bit on product design research. Yeah, I know we really kind of dive in on the strategy side, but today we're gonna cover the research portion. That way it gives you a glimpse of how we look at competitors and we do things to research components, features, and products and allow that to maybe influence or give us inspiration for our own products. All right? So if that's your jam like it's mine, we know it's my jam. Join me in the fun. So before you dive really deep into it, you actually want to set the stage. Now, I'm skipping a few steps for the sake of time, but I'm skipping a few steps that are preliminary actions to get you here. And that is, you host a kickoff meeting where you understand the problem entirely, where you define sort of where these hangups are occurring and what is actually in place currently that is not allowing users or internal stakeholders to achieve their goals. When you do this, you kind of set up a research plan. And that research plan can have everything from how you decide to conduct interviews, how you intend to gain the insight, whether it's testing through prototypes, how the plan, the overall arching goal, and the steps and plans to get there. That needs to be outlined a little bit earlier in the process before we get to this point. Today, we're going to talk about that competitive research as we look towards different companies or organizations in the markets of interest, and we see how they're doing things. We also look outside of our own market to see what inspiration we can take from that. And then we couple that together with our ultimate goal. That's why it's important to start there and see what we can do to bring a feature or to bring some functionality to life and achieve that goal. I'm skipping a few steps, but we're jumping right into competitive research. The first step you want to do when doing competitive research is analyze your competition. You want to look at different organizations and products that are in the same space you are in. One, because you want to be knowledgeable about what they're doing and how they intend to gain market share. You want to be on top of that. Then you want to analyze what kind of features, what they're actually doing good and what they need to improve on as well. This will give you the competitive advantage of learning your competition while you're designing and iterating for a better user experience. Once you have the information on your particular competitors, you want to actually take a step back and look at outside products and organizations because they will also drive some of the change as well. If you think of Google's product design, they spent a boatload of money on getting the best design tools, finding the best consumers to do research with, feedback, surveys, online. So they spent a lot of money in research, R&D, to uncover some of these things with potential users. That's not to say you need to copy, but if one organization has spent a ton of money on building out something with the user in mind, you want to borrow some of that inspiration, and it will cost you less money to do so. What I do in this example, I'm taking snippets from different organizations. I'm actually putting those in a bucket. Some will be really good as inspiration, and some will actually move the needle and give me these aha moments to see how that actually work for the consumers I'm targeting, okay? And what you want to do is once you have those buckets, you can actually decide which parts of these features you could actually use in your solution. Some may have different selection states, or some may be positioned in a certain way, or the interaction will give you the proper feedback to communicate to users. And those things are what make your experience better for users overall.
All right, so here we're going to actually look at some research that I've done for a particular dog walking app. And the brief, it kind of positions itself in saying we want to create a service that dog walkers or pet owners could actually schedule a walk or schedule some time with their pets. And I'm going to abbreviate some of this just for the sake of time, but the process still holds true. So if you check out my screen, after doing said interviews or gathering the exact users that we want to use that product, I usually put together a couple of sheets that indicate what questions were being asked, as well as the response from each user. So in this case, you'll see, what do you like about certain services you've used? What did you dislike about them? Also, what features would you add? What were the pain points? Was it reasonably priced? So all of these things matter in terms of understanding the ideal user. And I think it's imperative to have that. From there, I filtered it down, and I like to create user personas. This is to indicate and reference the exact user that we're targeting with this product. And on this, I usually have a visual snapshot representation of that user, some of their background, what to expect from them, their pain points, their goals, and even a quote that they usually give or offer up when we're doing these usability tests or just interviewing these users. And then ideally, we get into the market. So here's a snapshot of the market research, where I've taken the top 3 particular apps that kind of fall into the range or in the market space that we're doing. One is Rover, and I usually grab a couple of screenshots from that app and kind of showcase what that looks like. And then I also offer positive points, some references of things that I like, and also pain points, some things that I could improve or that I would improve within that app. I do that for one competitor, second competitor, exact same thing, screenshots, and then both of those points as well. And then for the last, same holds true. And in doing this, you'll also see a pattern, sort of what other people are doing in the space. And then also you can discern some potential improvements from their product that you'll see when you're using them or evaluating that. From there, I usually create a huge chart that places each competitor in that space, where they fall relative to the market and the industry, so that there's a visual representation of who's leading, who's not. And that's factored by a lot of other things that we won't discuss right now. From there, I also do UI research. And here what I do is simply, you can do a Google search or look at some of the spaces that you actually enjoy, some of the products that are out now, and take screenshots from them. So in those screenshots, I highlight, and as you can see here, I highlight some of the things that I really like. And in this example, it's looking at this massive hero image in the view. And then I usually give a snapshot or a little note as to why I like it and how it would help. Same thing here, where I absolutely love this kind of condensed version of search and filtering. That pairing is really well and it saves space. And then here I'm kind of finalizing what I like about these as well. I usually add star because, who doesn't like stars? And usually just place them on the area in which I'm referencing as a whole. And then again, as those notes and here with the icons as well. And this helps not only me get a bit of inspiration before I start sketching and moving into a direction of a layout, but it also helps to know what other people are doing so as to not copy or mimic, but to inform how I'd like to position the app.
Once you have all of that design insight, if you will, then you actually start to create some wireframes. You want to build off of your inspiration. Try to see placement, functionality, overall layout. See how that works in your product. See what goals and tasks you want your users to complete, and influence that with some of the inspiration you just derived from your own research. Now, once you outline that wireframe, I won't stop there, right? Wireframes are guides, layouts to what should happen. Take that a step further and start to make your wireframes interactive, clickable, tappable, functional. This will actually allow people to visualize what direction or what solution you intend on presenting to your demographic. Once you have that interactivity kind of locked in, you can then now apply that interaction to your design. So then you create visual design comps. Most people call them mock-ups, layouts, visual guidelines or directions. They're synonymous with just making visual designs that are representative of your solution. Now, when you're starting to do this, you're going to think of brand direction and aesthetic. What calls to action? What style guides are you using and referencing? This will make things easier, and it will actually create a pattern with the users because they know what to expect when they see green. They know what to expect when they see red, or they know what to expect when they see hue. But seriously, use the brand guidelines to inform a lot of your design decisions. And this will help you bring those visual mocks to life faster, and something that's a bit more synonymous with how the internal team recognizes what's going on. So that's all I have for design research and a competitive side. Now, if you want me to dive in a little bit deeper in terms of user interviews or maybe testing or something, leave a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. I'll be happy to cover it. All right. And the next time I see you, you should have a plethora of knowledge. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing because we talk about all kinds of design. We give advice. We're just us here. We show our true colors. In the meantime, in between time, your life has colors. So design it that way. And I'll see you in the next one. All right. That's it. Peace.